Have I ever killed someone? Oh, boy. Hi, everyone. Michael Francis here, former mob guy with the Colombo family back in New York. I was a soldier, cop of regime at one point in time, lived in that life for over 25 years. Made a break back in 1995. I've left that life, and ever since I've been a motivational speaker. I've written a number of books. I've done a number of documentaries. I'm here today to play Never Have I Ever. Not something I would play back in the day. All right, got a bunch of statements in front of me. Questions are going to be asked. I don't know if I've ever been asked these questions before, but we're going to find out. Never have I ever put a horse's head in someone's bed. I have not. But I gotta say, that's one of the greatest scenes ever in The Godfather. It's something that everybody remembers. That I can certainly see my former associates doing it back then, and it was a great scene. I wish I thought of that, but no, I didn't. I never had to resort to something like that. But I know some other things that were done that were kind of on that level, but we won't get into all of that. Never have I ever had a hit put out on me. I have. You know, unfortunately, when you walk away from that life, you're not allowed to do that. And my former boss, Carmine Persico, was very upset when it became public that I was walking away from that life. And he did put a hit out on me. As far as I know, it's never been rescinded. You know, I don't know if those things ever go away. So you're not allowed to walk away from that life. When you take that oath, you know, it's the oath of omerta, of silence. You're not allowed to betray it. You're not even supposed to admit that there is a mob or that you're a part of it. But yes, I've had a hit put out on me. And, you know, by the grace of God, I've been able to overcome that challenge. And here I am. Never have I ever been to prison. I have. I spent 8 years in prison, got a 10-year prison sentence back in 1985. I pled guilty to racketeering. The underlying act was tax fraud. I created a huge scam to defraud the government out of tax on every gallon of gasoline. I had over 350 gas stations, 18 companies that were licensed to collect the tax on every gallon of gasoline. When I finally got caught, my partner testified against me, a number of other people. So I took a plea, 10-year prison sentence, $15 million in restitution, $5 million in forfeitures, went off to do my time. You know, prison is what you make of it. I mean, you're certainly there to be punished. Look, whenever your freedom is taken away, that's punishment, and it's rough. Never have I ever made a bribe. I have. Yeah, you know, back in the day, we had a lot of politicians certainly on our payroll, and we used to pay them. We used to fund a lot of their fundraisers. We would go to them and contribute big dollars in order for them to do our bidding. As a matter of fact, in the gasoline business, I needed to have licenses for my wholesale operation. It had to be licensed in order to collect the tax. Well, I had 18 licenses. They weren't easy to get, but I was bribing public officials in order to get them, and they were only too happy to do my bidding. And as a result of that, I was able to actually defraud the government with help of the government, you know, with help of politicians. It was very accessible to us at the time. Never have I ever been an informant. I have not. Now, this is a controversial thing because I want to straighten this out, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to do this. I never put anybody in prison. Nothing I ever told the government ever resulted in anybody going to jail. Have I spoken about my former life? Sure. But the things that I've talked about, just about everybody knows, because my former associates have been captured on tape and tape recordings and so on and so forth. I will admit to this, I did play kind of a game with the government. For a time, I made them believe that I might go along with them, but then in the end, I never did. And as a result of that, my parole was violated. I was sent back to prison. So I want to make that clear. Never been an informant, never told anything to the government that put anybody in prison with my former associates. Never have and never will. Never have I ever fired a grenade launcher while shouting, "Say hello to my little friend." I have not.
Say hello to my little friend!
I absolutely loved that scene. I thought that Pacino was terrific. I mean, that was a classic movie. He was great in that film. But no, I never had to fire a grenade or anything like that. You know, I did use weapons at that time. Never used a machine gun either. That was back in the 30s and the 40s and the 20s. We didn't do that. We used short-range pistols at the time. So never had to resort to anything. No high artillery like that. Never have I ever killed someone. Oh, boy. I'm gonna pull one of these. You know, credibility in what I do is very important to me, so I never want to lie to anybody, whether it's in private or in public. I will tell you this, that life is a very violent life. If you're part of the life, you're part of the violence. There's no escape. And if anybody tells you differently, they're either not being honest with you or they weren't a made member of that life. And, you know, I will say this, you know, murder in that life was taken very seriously. And I will tell you this about myself, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to say this. I don't judge other people, I don't know their hearts, but I was around a lot of guys that if they had to commit a violent act, it seemed that that was part of them. I'm not going to say they enjoyed it, but they did it with some kind of fervor. And when I did it, when I was involved in anything that might have, you know, had violence to be a part of it, I never felt good about it. I want to make this clear. I never glorify my former life. And the reason I don't do that, because I do believe it's an evil life, and I want to be clear on this. I'm not calling the guys evil. I was one of them. I just happen to be very blessed. But I don't know any family of any member of that life that hasn't been totally devastated, including my own. Now, not my wife and kids, you know, fortunately God has preserved them, but my brothers and sisters, mother and father, had a very, very difficult life as a result of my dad's involvement in that life. So any lifestyle that does that to families is obviously an evil life. And I will tell you that I am extremely blessed and very fortunate to be where I am today, to have left that life and be able to talk about it and hopefully be a source of encouragement and hope to people, to make them understand that you can get out of a bad situation in your life, you can turn it around. For me, it's all about my faith, but you know, never give up hope. You know, do the right thing and there's always a way out.